welcome back to today's episode, and we'll be continuing the Learn.js series. So in today's episode we'll be looking at concatenation in programming. Now concatenation simply means joining two things together, and since we're concatenating strings, by extension all we're doing is taking one string and another string and adding them together or joining them together. So the first method to do this is by using the plus operator. So we have some code here, and we have the variable myString, and it reads hey new programmer, and then we want to add how are you to hey new programmer. Now notice we have a space between the full stop and the end of the quotation, and this is simply because we want to add a space between the two strings once they're concatenated. Let me just show you an example. So if I go here in my terminal and I do this, we see hey new programmer, how are you, with the space. Now if I do this and I compare and I remove that space, I simply run it, hey new programmer, how are you, without the space. So that's the first method we use to concatenate strings. Next up we'll be looking at how to concatenate strings using the plus equals operator, so stay tuned for that. Now the next method in concatenating strings is using the plus equals operator, right? And this method is very similar to the first one, and there's a few rules you observe. So before we get to that, let's look at this. So we have the declaration hi new programmer, and then we're using a plus equals operator, which is a compound operator that we spoke about in my last video. You can go ahead and rewatch it just to remember or to refresh your mind. And so we say myString plus equals how are you, and we console log my string. So if I go down here to my terminal and I do like so, we get hi new programmer, how are you. Now the rules I was speaking about, very similar to what I mentioned earlier when using the plus operator to concatenate strings. Notice I have an empty space right here, so that whenever I log it to my console, there is a space in between the words. Now if I remove this space like so and log this out, you can see that there is no space in between. So just to ensure that everything is okay, go ahead, give that some space, and you have the space needed. So keep that in mind whenever you're using the plus equals operator to concatenate strings. And moving on, we'll look at how we can concatenate strings using variables. So looking at how we concatenate strings with variables, very similar to when we use the plus equals operator or even the plus operator. So let's see, var my name is equal to Percival Roberts, and then our name is equal to my name is plus the value of my name, which is here, and we console log our name because our name is equal to my name is plus the value of whatever my name is, which is Percival Roberts. So we go ahead and we just print this out in our terminal. We get my name is Percival Roberts. Additionally, if we remove the space here and we go back to our terminal, run, we realize we have no space, and so we add the space at the end of the first string that we're adding the second string to get a space between our strings. And just like that, we have looked at three simple methods in which we can concatenate strings. As usual, I'll be linking a video in the description along with the GitHub repository. And that's it for today. See you guys soon.